Music? Yes, it's very good. Very good for the digestion.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
You know, we're always quickest to doubt people who have a reputation for being honest.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Could be a monkey or a orangutan.
A bald monkey? Is he a pig? He sure eats like one.
It's the Al Travis Show. We'd like to do this every couple of weeks. We get Matt in here to talk baseball. It's Matt on baseball. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great, Al. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Quick transition. Better than two Hall of Famers from my fine state of Minnesota. I don't know if you caught this. Tony Oliva has been having evidently a series of mini strokes in the last month or so. And then Ken Herbeck, let me see where I got it. He suffered a minor stroke following some knee surgery, and they're both recovering at home. Kind of weird. Both in the same week.
Yeah, I saw that. Really, really sad, but I hope thoughts go out to their loved ones and hope they are recovering.
It seems that there are now. Tony O, I think I even saw that. I got to bring that up.
He's 80-something, I think.
85 right? Or something like 86 years old. And wishing no ill will, but 86 and having strokes.
Yeah.
It's a bad sign. That's all I'm going to throw out there.
I think Herbeck is a lot younger, right? 60-something.
Oh, yeah, he's a lot younger. He's 60. He's about my age. I believe he actually married a friend of mine's friend.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we're tight. Oh, real tight. Yeah. I met him once, maybe twice. So anyway, yeah. So that's one news story. The other, my man Judge.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy, that kid can play ball.
I didn't think it was possible, but he's getting even better. And, there was a lot of thought that when Juan Soto got traded to the Mets, that would take a little protection out of the lineup for him. And, man, he's not even leading the league in home runs, but he's leading the league in just about every other category. It's incredible.
Yeah. Let me ask you about the torpedo bat. He was a torpedian. And other than the very first game where, I don't know, he had 9 home runs, are we seeing that continue to carry on, or is the torpedo bat kind of went by the wayside of it's just another bat people stop worrying?
I think it's gone by the wayside. I will point out that the two home run leaders in the major leagues, or 2 of the 3, one uses a torpedo bat, Cal Riley, the catcher for the Mariners, and this guy Tyler Soderstrom does not for the A's. Okay. So, as we said in an earlier show, you still got to be able to hit the ball. And once you do hit the ball, maybe it hits it a little harder. But that maybe was a flash in the pan as a big story. We'll see.
All right. Let's talk a little power rankings before we get in each section, as we do. Currently, ESPN has the Dodgers at number 1, 16-9. They were 2, but they've moved up past the Padres. You good with that? Think LA's better than San Diego?
I think I like San Diego. I think they're full of, both good on the offense, good on the pitching side. So I could see them hanging with the Dodgers all season. I think ultimately the Dodgers have more depth than they do, although the Dodgers pitchers have been taking a fall. They've got a few pitchers who are out of the lineup now, but for injuries. So we'll see how that goes. But I think it'll be nip and tuck between those two till the end. I don't see the not the 49ers, the Giants hanging in with them. That's a surprise. I think the Diamondbacks are good enough. I think it'll be between those 3 in the West.
All right. The Mets, of course, they look better. They've got an inflated scoring record because they played us. But they're at number 3, and then New York at number 4. Boy, New York's got to be happy with their ball clubs.
Yeah, if you look at it, the 2 New York teams are leading their leagues. They have the best record in their leagues. I was looking at the Mets this morning, and look, I don't know how they've done it, to be honest. The top 3 are the best of any team in the league, with Francisco Lindor, who's going to be an MVP candidate, Juan Soto, and Pete Alonso. Those are as good as any other team has. After that, they're all batting 200 something. Their pitching is not great, but they've been really cohesive as a team and done really well. So I'm not sure that continues. I see Philly as probably the class of that division, with maybe my Braves catching up eventually.
Well, they will if they keep playing the Twins. We'll get to that. Then I have the Giants, Diamondbacks, Chicago Cubs. I think that's a little interesting. Philadelphia, Detroit, the Tigers, and the Rangers. Is that a decent top 10 for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked earlier. I think the Rangers are probably ultimately the class of that division. Although, you know, although they're in last place, the Oakland A's, they're only
Yeah.
three games out of first place. Their offense is incredible. They've got all these young players that they cultivated, and they're playing in a minor league park, right, for the next
Yeah.
few years in Sacramento. Their downfall is their pitching. I mean, if they
Oh, yeah.
had pitching, they could be a really strong team.
Their run differential is 18. As much as they're hitting and scoring, they're giving up 18 more runs than they have. I mean, that hurts. Let's go through it. Let's start on the National League first, and we've kind of had some of this. Mets are leading their division, like you said. The Phillies are right there, and I say that they're 5 games behind. Is the Mets going to run away with that? And I give you the Braves. They got 3 straight on us. That wakes a team up. They've got time. Are you still feeling scared about them, or are they going to move up that rank somebody? They're 1 behind the
No, I
Nationals.
mean their offense has waked up, right? They opened the season 0-7.
Yeah.
And they're now 10-14. So they've played pretty well since that terrible opening. Finally, they're hitting. Their offense is hitting. Their pitcher, Spencer Strider came back and then injured his hamstrings.
Yeah.
And Chris Sale is not pitching like the Chris Sale of last year. So, yeah, I still think they'll catch up. I think they will be among the top 3. I think that's a division between the Phillies, Mets, and Braves. The Marlins and Nationals are going to fall back, although the Nationals have some really good young players that are starting to shine, like this guy James Wood, who may be in the MVP conversation this year.
Well, in Atlanta, as hard as your start was, they're one good series, and any of those teams having bad one from being in second place. They're two and a half out of the second place.
Yeah.
Looking at the Central, Chicago Brewers, Reds, Pirates, and Cardinals. Wow. Just nothing exciting in all of that. What do you think of that? I don't see any reason to chat about many.
I mean, we'll see. I think the Cubs ultimately will win that, although they lost Justin Steele, probably their best pitcher. He's out for a while. The team that's really interesting in that division to me is the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, they've got this guy, Ellie De La Cruz at shortstop, who is a monster. He can do everything. He's 6'7". He's leading the league in stolen bases. He's one back now. They've got a second baseman hitting in front of him, Matt McClain, who's really good, and a couple of really good pitchers. So to me, they're the most exciting team in that division just because of the young talent they have.
All right. And again, I don't know what's going on. Judge is how tall is Judge? He's 6'7" or something like that too, right?
I think he is 6'7", 6'8", yeah.
It's these gorilla guys. They're growing them so tall, and it's not like the lanky kids of old that got big and couldn't figure it out. They know how to get them to be athletic and huge.
Yeah.
They're going to take over all sports. I mean,
Yeah.
6'7" playing baseball. You should be sitting there playing a basketball game somewhere. No coach should have let you anywhere near the baseball diamond.
Or a tight end in football or something.
Thank you. Exactly. So things they are changing. And then finally on the West in the National League, what's interesting about it, the top 3-4 teams are pretty close. Then you got the Rockies, and it's an also-ran thing. But the Padres are ahead of the Giants and the Dodgers, and you're telling me those are the 3 for the whole year, right?
Yeah, I think it's those 3. I don't think I don't think the Giants are going to stay where they are. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fight. I think ultimately the Dodgers are going to come out on top. They just have too much talent, too much depth.
Okay. And again, not playing bad, 16-9. That's just a winning division right there. Well, and when you beat up the Rockies, 4-18.
Yeah.
It's the Sox. It is the White Sox of their league. How do these teams get out of this? What are your thoughts? How do you go at 4-18 and expect anyone to show up?
Yeah, I mean, they had a historically. I mean, the White Sox had a historically bad season last year, obviously, and they're not doing much better this year. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they've got I don't know what the way out is. I'm not an expert on the business of baseball.
Well, the business of baseball, you want to sell a few seats because you're playing anyway, so you sell them. No one's showing up there, so you don't get hot dog sales, you don't get T-shirt sales.
Yeah.
But the bigger problem, they might have the money coming in for the TV rights, I presume. But who's advertising with them? They can't charge anything. No one's watching because they never win. And unless a great team comes to town, I don't know who would spend any money. So I don't know how it's like a death spiral. And I'll say that Chicago and Minnesota playing, Oh, that's a little tough right there. We'll talk about it on the other side of the break, how we'd ever make that work. We'll do it with Matt on baseball right here on the Al Travis Show.
Dust from livestock buildings can be harmful to your animals and to you. Coughing animals can lead to costly vet visits and other serious health problems. Now there's an environmentally safe solution for your dust problems. It's called DustLock. DustLock can control the dust all summer long with just one application. Protect your animals and your health with DustLock. Learn more at dustlock.com.
You know that car sound that sounds like a cricket playing a banjo? Jay's can fix that. You know when you step on the brakes and your car sounds like a pair of tennis shoes in the dryer? Paul is a guy who specializes in that. And you know that sound that never happens when the mechanic's around? Paul took a whole course on that. If you own a car, you need to know Paul. Paul owns Jay's Auto Shop, 202 North Main Street, Blue Earth, 525-1052, 525-1052.
don't need to ask him his opinion more than once. Al Travis on the Al Travis Show.
We've got Matt on baseball, and Matt, we've talked about these guys a little bit already, but to bring it back, New York and Boston going to be running at each other, right? I mean, that's going to be in this division, those two all day, every day.
Yeah, I think those teams are the class of the division. I'm going to go with the Red Sox by the end of the year just because they've got, the Yankees don't have a lot of pitching.
Yeah, but you were saying some of the stuff that Judge was leading in. Yeah, he's got a .415 batting average, .513 OB on base percentage, .734 slugging, OPS of 1247. Oh, and by the way, tied for second for RBIs.
Yeah.
What else do you want from this guy? And he's a good glove in the outfield, right? I mean, he does.
Yeah. And they moved him to right field once Juan Soto left, which is a little less taxing the center field on the block, but he's a good fielder. Yeah, he leads the league in 5 offensive categories. He's second in RBIs. He's third in runs scored in homers. It was interesting. Wow. You mentioned the on base percentage. I mean, right now on base, that means when you come up to bat, you either get a hit, a walk, hit by pitch. So he gets on base more than half the times he goes up to the plate. It made me think where that fits historically. So I sort of dug into that a little bit. You know who has the highest career on base percentage?
I would have no idea.
Ted Williams. So,
Seriously?
yeah, over the course of his career on base percentage was 48%. So almost half the time over the course of his career, he got on base.
I bet you a lot of that was walks. They were so scared to pitch him. He knocked everything out. I think that was probably a lot of walks for Ted.
Yeah. He also probably, and he held the single season record for on base percentage for 61 years that he set in 1941, which was the same season he batted 406, right? Nobody's ever batted 400 since. In that year, his on-base percentage was 55%. And it stood for 61 years until one player broke that record in 2002. You know who broke that record?
I had no idea. No.
Barry Bonds.
Yeah, but he'll never go in the Hall of Fame, right? Isn't he got the asterisk behind his name? You could say that, but he's not going anywhere. Wow. Okay.
So Barry Bonds in 2002, 58%. He broke his own record 2 years later, and his on-base percentage was 61% in 2004. Wow. Pretty amazing.
Wow, that is amazing stat. All right, so we got that. Let's talk by Central. We're so good for you. You guys come through town. The Mets, I don't know. We had the lowest attendance ever. This would go back. Lowest attendance ever in this new stadium when the Mets came to town. They're league leading on the East. You'd think people would want to go, but we look so horrible, the Twins. No one's going. That's why I say if you can't get a good team like the Mets come to town and you say it's a nice day, let's go, it's going to be tough for us. Chicago, we're playing now. If it's a nice weekend, who wants to go? I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk. Detroit Tigers, you like them? You don't? What are your thoughts on the Tigers and
the Tigers.
Cleveland?
I mean, I love their number one pitcher, Tarek Skubal, who you might remember early last year, I predicted he was going to win the Cy Young Award, and he did. And they've got Jack Flaherty. They have this young kid, Reese Olson, who's really good. And they've got some good folks on the offense, both that came up through their system and that they signed in the offseason. So I do like them. I don't think they're going to run away with it. I don't think the Twins are out of it by any means. You just called up this young kid who's, running crazy, and you've got some good pitching on the way. So I don't think you're out of it by any means. I like the Royals too.
Yeah. Royals 4.5 out. We're 5.5 out. And again, there's the also rans. They're 1-9 in their last 10. The Chicago White Sox. It's just a death spiral, in my opinion.
You ask, and I want to take a look at this about, well, how do they get out of it? Teams like the White Sox and the Rockies, and there is this agreement that is signed between the owners and the Players Association that does govern things like revenue sharing and giving draft picks to try to reduce the disparity in revenue.
But it's so unlike baseball or football or basketball, where the worst team gets to draft the very best player who could come and make something happen right away. Almost all these kids get drafted, and then they got to go play in the minors somewhere. You don't see a team change anywhere near as quickly as any other sport.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, the thing worth watching for us is in the West, Texas, Seattle, the Astros, all within one game of each other. And heck, the entire league, all the way down to the A's, a 3-game separation. I mean, this is the one that'll be at least worth watching the race. Your thoughts?
That'll be really interesting. Yeah, I don't think there's a clear front runner. I do like the Rangers. They've got some young talent, both offensively and on the pitching side. But as I was saying to you earlier, I love the A's offense. I mean, they got some young, exciting players. They just have no pitching. And they pitch in a minor league park, so that's going to be tough to compete with.
Well, then that's what's weird. Again, you say that, and you're right, because the Athletics, 105 runs so far, they're hitting fine, but they've given up 123. So that's how you're, and they're 18 underwater. Well, the Texas Rangers are, I don't know if you know, they're also 14 underwater. Yeah. They have more people, but they must win big when they win and lose small, or vice versa. Because they're atop that division and they're down 14 runs.
Yeah, they've got a really pretty powerful offense, although their shortstop, Corey Seager, just got injured again. I don't know how long he's out. They have some young pitch. They've got Jacob deGrom, who, when he can stay on the mound, he pitches well, but he's getting older and he hasn't pitched much for the last few years. They've got this guy who's supposed to be a Kumar Rocker, this great prospect who gets shelled almost every time he pitches. I don't know what's going on. And then Jack Leiter, their other great pitching prospect who was out for 2 weeks with a blister on his finger. So their pitching has been a struggle. So I understand the run differential.
These blisters on the fingers, that stuff drives me nuts. The money these kids are making, and I got to sit out. I got to go. I'm out of time, Matt. You know, love having you on the program, my friend. I appreciate you being here. We'll do it again in a couple weeks. Fair enough?
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
All right. It's Matt on baseball on the Al Travis Show.
There are many ways to explore